Welcome, everyone. Today, we're stepping into the powerful world of manifestation. And if you believe in transforming your reality, make sure you become a member of my channel, Neville Manifestation, where your imagination creates your future. Good evening, my friends. Tonight, I want to start with something honest. Over the years, I've shared many ideas with you, techniques, methods, ways of practicing, and I've seen how beautifully you've understood them. You've learned SATs, revision, living from the end, shaping inner conversations, and feeling your desire as already fulfilled. You truly understand all of it, and yet for many of you, the results still haven't fully appeared. Tonight I want to explain exactly why. Not because the techniques are wrong, they aren't. Not because you're incapable, unworthy, or doing something terribly wrong, you're not. The truth is simpler than that. There is one essential skill, the foundation that determines whether everything else works or fails. And it's something most people were never directly taught. How to stay in the state once you enter it. How do you remain there? How do you hold on to the assumption when the outside world pushes back? How do you live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not just for a short practice session, but as your everyday reality? Not as a place you visit occasionally, but as the place you truly live. Here's what you need to understand clearly. The secret is not entering the state. You've done that many times. You already know what it feels like. You've had those moments where it felt completely real, where for a brief time you truly became the version of yourself who already has what you desire. The real secret is staying there. And tonight I'm going to show you how. Let me first point out the pattern that quietly stops most manifestations before they even have a chance to unfold. It happens so often that it's almost predictable. Someone discovers these teachings, feels inspired, and begins practicing with genuine excitement. Their SATs feels vivid, their emotions are real, and they fall asleep fully immersed in the feeling of their wish fulfilled. Deep down, something clicks. They know this is real. But then morning comes. Before they're fully awake, before they've even taken a conscious breath, their mind automatically starts checking. They look in the mirror, they grab their phone, they scan their environment for proof that something has changed. And of course, nothing looks different yet, not physically, not in such a short time. In that quiet, almost unnoticed moment of checking, they step out of the state. Not dramatically, not with doubt or panic, but gently, automatically. They slip back into the familiar mindset. Nothing has changed. I'm still the same. My situation is still the same. From that point on, they are no longer creating from fulfillment. They are creating from lack, from waiting, from hoping, from noticing the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And the law, which simply reflects the state you consistently occupy, responds faithfully. It produces more waiting, more delay, more not yet. This is the cycle, and this is where it ends. To break it, you first need to truly understand what a state is. Many people misunderstand this, and that confusion makes everything feel harder than it actually is. A state is not just a mood or a passing emotion. It's not something temporary that comes and goes. A state is a complete way of being. It's the full structure of your consciousness, how you think, what you assume automatically, what feels normal to you, how you interpret events, and what you expect from life. Imagine your consciousness as a vast mansion with countless rooms. Each room represents a different state, and each one is fully complete in itself. There's a room of lack, where every thought, feeling, and perception reflects limitation. Everything in that room matches that reality. There's also a room of abundance, just as real and fully formed, with its own thoughts, feelings, and expectations that align perfectly with that experience. Both rooms exist, both are available, and you are always inside one of them. So the real question is not whether you're in a state, you always are. The question is, which one are you living in? And more importantly, are you living there or just visiting? Most people visit their desired state. They step into it during practice, feel it deeply for a while, and then leave. They return to their old way of thinking as soon as the session ends. That's not living there. Living in a state means you've moved in. You've made it your home. You're comfortable there. It feels natural, familiar, and normal. And the outer world can only reflect the place you truly live, not the one you visit occasionally. So how do you begin living there? It starts with your mornings. The moment you wake up, before you move, before you touch your phone, before your mind starts replaying your current circumstances, there's a small but powerful window of time. In those first few seconds, your mind is still soft, not fully conditioned by your usual patterns. This is your opportunity, and it doesn't take long, just a few seconds, before anything else. Decide, where am I living today? Choose your state, then gently feel it, not in a forced or complicated way, but simply allowing yourself to settle into it, as if it's already your reality. Just take about 30 seconds and truly step into the feeling that your desire is already a fact. You are that version of yourself. You already have what you wanted. This is your life now, not in some distant future, but in this present moment, the only place where creation actually happens, within your consciousness. After those few seconds, you get up and move into your day from that state. And what this simple morning choice gives you is something most people never build: momentum. It is always easier to remain in a state you started your day in than to try forcing yourself into it later when your mind is already scattered. Those 30 seconds are not just about feeling good. They set the tone, the internal system that runs everything else throughout your day. Do this every morning, before anything else, without skipping. If you stay consistent with just this one practice, it will completely shift what feels possible in your life. Now let's be honest about something. You are going to fall out of the state sometimes. That's normal. There's no need to make it dramatic or turn it into failure. Of course it will happen. You're replacing patterns that have been running for years, maybe even decades. New ways of thinking need repetition before they become natural. The old patterns are deeply familiar, so they will try to come back in quiet and subtle ways. You will drift. Someone might say something that triggers your old story. You might see something in your environment that looks like the exact opposite of what you're assuming. Your logical mind may jump in and try to argue with your belief, or a thought may appear so familiar and convincing that before you even realize it, you've slipped right back into your old way of thinking. But this is not failure. This is part of the process of learning. The only real mistake is not noticing it, or noticing and then giving up. The entire practice can be simplified to one thing. Notice when you've left the state and come back immediately. That's it. Not trying to be perfect, not trying to never leave, but simply returning every time you do. Think of yourself as someone standing at the door of your own mind, not someone trying to block every thought from appearing. That would be exhausting and impossible. Instead, you are just someone who decides which thoughts get to stay. When a doubtful thought shows up, you recognize it. You see it clearly. This is the old pattern trying to pull me back. And instead of engaging with it, you simply don't let it in. You don't argue with it. You don't try to prove it wrong. And you don't spend time analyzing it. You just turn away from it and return to the feeling of already having what you want. And just like that, you're back home. This process, notice and return, again and again, is what makes the new state permanent. Not one big moment of discipline, but many small, quiet moments where you choose to come back. Now let's talk about something that matters more than most people realize: your inner conversation. Right now, as you're reading this, there's a voice inside your head. It's always there. It has been with you for as long as you can remember. It comments on things, judges situations, worries, plans ahead, replays the past. It's a constant stream of thoughts running in the background of your life. And that background voice is either supporting your desired state or quietly pulling you away from it. Pay attention to what it says during your normal day, not when you're practicing, but when you're just living. What is that voice saying about your desire? Is it saying things like, "I hope this works. When will it happen? It's taking so long. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. What if it never happens?" Or is it saying, "It's already done. I'm grateful. This is mine. Everything is working out perfectly"? The first type of conversation belongs to your old state. The second belongs to the version of you who is already living in the result. Here's what most people miss. Your inner dialogue is not just reflecting your state, it is actively maintaining it. If your thoughts are filled with doubt and waiting, you cannot remain in the state of already having. The two feed each other. So your job is simple. Start listening, not to criticize yourself, not to fight your thoughts, but just to become aware. Ask yourself, what is my inner voice saying right now? Is it aligned with where I want to live or where I'm trying to leave? When you catch the old voice speaking, gently stop it. No force, no frustration. Just pause it, like turning off something you didn't mean to play. Then replace it, not with forced affirmations or words you don't believe, but with a calm, natural inner voice that reflects someone who already has what they want. If the old voice says, "I'm still struggling financially, when will things change?" you shift it to, "I am supported, money flows into my life easily." If it says, "They haven't reached out, maybe they don't care," you shift it to, "I am valued, my relationships are strong and genuine." If it says, "I still feel these problems, what if I don't improve?" you shift it to, "My body knows how to restore itself, I am already healing." And you do this again and again throughout your day. Every time the old voice appears, you redirect it. Over time, something powerful happens. The new voice starts becoming automatic, not because you forced it, but because repetition has made it familiar. And when it feels natural, that's when you know you've truly moved into a new state. Now I want to give you 3 simple anchors, 3 practical ways to stay grounded in your new state, especially when the world around you seems to challenge it. Now let me give you 3 simple ways to stay grounded in your new state, especially when life around you tries to pull you back into the old one. The first anchor is the feeling itself, not just during your practice, not just in the morning, but throughout your entire day. Come back to the feeling of already having what you want, even if it's just for a few seconds. If possible, take about 30 seconds every hour. You don't have to stop what you're doing or close your eyes. Right in the middle of your routine, just allow that feeling to rise again. The feeling of being the person who already has it. Whether it's wealth, love, health, or success, let that sense of "it's already mine" move through you. Then continue with your day. This small habit becomes your anchor. When you return to that feeling regularly, your mind doesn't wander too far from the state you've chosen. Most people lose their state during long periods where they forget completely and get absorbed only in what they see around them. This simple hourly return breaks that pattern. It keeps you connected. If needed, set reminders until it becomes natural. Just 30 seconds every hour can stabilize your state faster than you expect. The second anchor is gratitude. Not general gratitude, but very specific gratitude for your desire, as if it is already yours. Instead of saying "thank you, it will come," shift it to "thank you, it is already here." Thank you for your abundance. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your healing. Gratitude works so well because it cannot exist alongside the feeling of lack. You can't truly feel thankful for something you believe you don't have. So when you express real gratitude, even briefly, you are automatically stepping into the state of already receiving. It places you in the mindset of someone who has it now. Throughout your day, whenever your desire comes to mind, don't let it turn into worry or waiting. Turn it into a quiet, sincere "thank you." That simple shift keeps reinforcing the feeling that it is already done, and that feeling is the state you are choosing to live in. The third anchor is something you do at night: revision. Before you go into your SATs practice, take a few minutes and look back over your day. Not to judge yourself, not to focus on mistakes, and not to feel guilty for slipping out of the state. Instead, gently notice the moments that didn't align with who you want to be. Think about the situations where you drifted. Maybe it was a conversation that triggered doubt, or something you saw that shook your belief, or an old thought pattern that came back unexpectedly. You'll recognize those moments because they left a certain feeling behind. Now go back to those moments in your imagination and replay them, but this time, experience them from your desired state. If someone said something that unsettled you, hear it again but feel yourself calm, steady, and unaffected. If you reacted with fear when you looked at your situation, imagine seeing the same thing with quiet confidence, knowing everything is already working out. If an old thought pulled you back, see yourself noticing it and gently returning to your new state without struggle. This practice does 2 powerful things. First, it clears the impact of the day. Through imagination, you reshape your experience so that internally you stayed aligned the entire time. It's like correcting the path before you go to sleep. Second, it prepares you. Every time you imagine yourself responding differently, you are training your mind. You are building a new pattern. So the next time a similar situation happens, you will naturally respond from your new state, not because you forced it, but because it already feels familiar. When you bring these 3 anchors together, the regular return to the feeling, the consistent use of gratitude, and the nightly revision, and combine them with how you start your morning, you create a powerful system, a way of living that keeps you rooted in your chosen state, no matter what is happening around you. This is what a complete daily structure looks like when you are truly living in the wish fulfilled, not just stepping into it for a moment, but actually making it your home. Now I want to talk about the phase that challenges most people. It's not the beginning. It's not the first few days or even the first week. It's when time passes, when 1 week turns into 2, then into a month, maybe longer, and your desire still hasn't shown up physically. That's when something inside you starts to question everything. You begin to wonder quietly, am I doing this right? Is it even working? Did I miss something? Is this somehow my fault? Let me explain what's really happening in that moment. This is the old state trying to pull you back, but not in obvious ways. Not with loud, negative thoughts you've already learned to ignore. It comes in a more subtle form. It sounds reasonable. It feels logical. It presents itself as honesty or self-reflection. Thoughts like, I'm just being realistic, or I'm just checking if this is actually working, or it's a fair question to ask. And the truth is, those questions are not fake. They feel real because they are real experiences. The uncertainty feels real. The lack of visible change feels real. But here is the part you must understand clearly. What you are seeing right now is not the result of your current state. It is the result of your past state. The outer world always lags behind. It is always the last thing to change. It reflects what you were consistently assuming before, not what you are choosing now. The situation in front of you was built over time, through previous patterns of thinking and feeling. It didn't appear overnight, and it won't disappear overnight either. So when you look at your current reality and feel doubt because nothing has changed yet, you are allowing the past to control your present awareness. You are letting old conditions define what you believe now. Instead, remind yourself of this simple truth. What you see is an echo. You have already changed the source. You have already shifted internally. The outer reflection is just catching up. Like an echo that hasn't returned yet, it is still on its way. Your only job is to remain where you are now, to stay in the new state long enough for that reflection to appear. Now let me show you how you'll know you've truly learned to stay in that state. There is a word for this experience, Sabbath. This is not about a specific day, it's a state of mind. It's the calm that comes after something is complete. It's the quiet confidence of knowing that everything is already done. When you can imagine your desire, feel it as real, and then release the need to constantly think about it, that's the shift. Not forgetting it, not abandoning it, but simply resting in the certainty that it is already yours. You no longer feel the urge to check for signs. You don't keep analyzing whether it's working. That pressure fades away. You wake up in the morning and go through your day as the person who already has it. Not forcing thoughts, not constantly reminding yourself, not looking for proof in every situation. You just live naturally from that identity. And something interesting happens. The desire stops feeling exciting or distant. It stops feeling like something special you're waiting for. Instead, it becomes normal. It feels like a natural part of your life, just like your name, your face, your everyday existence. When it reaches that point, you've entered Sabbath, and that is the sign that everything is about to unfold. Because when something feels completely natural, when it feels ordinary, expected, and unquestioned, there is no resistance left. There is no conflict inside you. No part of you is doubting or holding on to the old story. You are fully settled in the new state, completely aligned, completely at ease. And from that place, the outer world has no choice but to reflect what you have already become within. When your awareness is fully settled in a state, without resistance or inner conflict, it has no choice but to express itself outwardly. It's not a possibility, it's a certainty. That is how this works. That is the law. And before I end, I want to leave you with something important. Remaining in the state is not about being perfect. I want you to really hear that, because I know many of you who are sincere and deeply committed will try to do this flawlessly, and then become frustrated with yourselves when you can't. You will slip out of the state, Not once, but many times, especially in the beginning. That doesn't mean you're failing. That is the process. Living in the state doesn't belong to someone who never drifts. It belongs to someone who notices when they drift and simply comes back again and again without making it a problem. No frustration, no guilt, no overthinking. No getting stuck in that second layer of being upset about being upset. Just a quiet awareness. I moved away from it, and now I'm back. That's it. Every time you return, you strengthen the new pattern. Every time you come back, the desired state becomes more familiar, more comfortable, more natural. Slowly, without you even realizing exactly when it happened, you'll notice something has shifted. The new state feels like home, and the old way of thinking starts to feel distant, almost unfamiliar, like something that no longer belongs to you. Meanwhile, the outer world, which has always been reflecting your inner state with precision, begins to change. It starts to mirror the version of you that you've been consistently occupying within. So make your choice now, not later, not when things look different, but right now. In this present moment, the only place where creation actually happens, decide who you are. You are already the person who has what you desire. It is already done. Stay there. When you drift, come back, and stay there again. That's the whole principle, simply put. Remain in the state. Good evening. This is Joya. I'll see you in the next video. As we come to the end, remember, your thoughts are not just ideas. They are the blueprint of your reality. What you consistently imagine, feel, and believe will shape the life you experience. The power has always been within you, waiting to be claimed. So step forward with certainty. Live your vision fearlessly. And if you're ready to truly transform your life, join my channel Neville Manifestation, where your new reality begins.